Torah Guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.
Shalom, 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 or should I say Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Yasharal and Yahudah, grafted in Gentiles into the body of Mashiach. Listen, I'm rejoicing in Yahuah Zavao. He is Yahuah of the armies. He has sent Yahusha, my kinsman redeemer. He is king and priest. Yes, he is the king of the tribe, of the nation of Yasharal, Yahudah. He is the high priest forever, as Yahuah has sworn, and will not repent after the order of Melchizedek. Listen, it is him who has established us in this Yeshua, in this salvation. Yahuah, I give you praise right now in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. I give you praise for your word, your Besorah of truth made flesh. I give you praise for Yahusha, who is full of grace and truth. I give you praise, Yahuah, for he has given us the witness. He has made available to us this renewed covenant, establishing us in our emunah. And if we can just release our emunah in this witness, you will give your ruach hakodesh to establish us. Yahuah, I give you praise. Yahuah, take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. Yahuah, let me speak your word in ruach and in truth. For you said, as many as receive you, to them you gave power to be the sons of Elohiym. Even them that believe on his name. Yahuah, I'm a son of Elohiym. I believe on you. I believe on your word. Yahuah, let your word go forth in power, dunamos and exousia. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, Yahuah, I pray. I pray that you let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuah, my strength and my redeemer. Listen, we listening to none other than Hezekiah. We're going to play it again because I just want to hear it again. None other than Hezekiah. The song is entitled, Never Knew Yah. Listen, I am considered blessed because I have received the witness. I am blessed because I am the nation of Yasharal and Yahudah. I am Yahusha's firstborn. Yahuwah's firstborn, and Yahusha HaMashiach is my redeemer. He is my mediator. He is that which has reconciled us to the Father. Listen, I am a part of Yahuwah's family because I've received the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach. This thing is greater than being just Hebrew. This is about being Hebrew, having received the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach, established in the Ruach HaKodesh. And then Yahuah, listen, he cares for everybody. He's even made it available to the Gentiles. Those who are of the other nations that will receive this witness. You got to receive this witness, though. You got to be born again of the Ruach HaKodesh, and you got to be born again of water. You got to receive the testimony of Yahusha. And see, for the Gentiles, it's not a complicated thing. But for the Yahudim, oh yeah, we struggle because we still caught up in the idea of Aaron's priesthood, and we can't even turn because that has been done away. It's faded away. It is faded away. It is literally gone. Is Levi gone? No. Levi is still Yahuwah's number one people. But the order of the priesthood has shifted under Yahusha HaMashiach. Yeah, because he is king and priest. Oh yeah. See, that's the word. That's the Besorah. Listen. Man of Yah, woman of Yah. Again, the song is Never Knew Yah by Hezekiah. I don't own the rights to this music. Again, you know I love this arc. I can play this arc all the time. You know, this arc is something special. Yeah. He's something special. You know, he's special. He was doing great things through him. And this is a good thing, right? Because he's doing great things in Israel. He's doing great things in Israel. Listen, we going in. What did I do? All right, we going in. Listen, we are in 1 Corinthians, right? 1 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. And again, so far, Corinthians, Shaul has addressed, right? He has addressed the Corinthians because of their, wait a minute, how can I say this? Yahuah has, through Shaul, addressed the Corinthians' carnality, right? Their being, moving, conducting themselves as babes, right? And he explains this, right, in reference to how they had begun to quarrel amongst themselves concerning leadership, right? Concerning Shaul's leadership and Apollos' leadership, or Shaul's Besorah Torah, the way he presented the Besorah, the Torah, and Apollos, and even CEPHER as Shaul compared them, right? But the idea is Paul is trying to get them to understand that, listen, that's a carnal thing. You know, that's a lack of being transformed, right? Right. You're not doing those things which transform your mind and your nefesh, your emotions, right? Because if you were, right, you wouldn't be having quarrels in relationship to which apostle or which moral, which teacher is better, right? Because that's really carnal. I mean, Yahuah has established both in the Ruach HaKodesh. And if he's established both in the Ruach HaKodesh, then Yahuah has purpose for them, and he is their minister, right? He is the one that has appointed them. He's the one that has chosen them. He's the one that has called them, right? And it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with Yahusha and Yahuah and the Ruach HaKodesh, the measure that Yahuah has put in them, right? So Shaul, in that 3rd chapter, he says, listen, I can't even talk to y'all like spiritual. I can't address you in the Ruach HaKodesh. I got to come at you like I come at a baby. It's carnal, you know. Got to tell you, no, don't do that, right? I should be able to deal with you in spirit, you know. You should be able to readily understand in the Ruach HaKodesh, but, you know, because you're dealing carnally, I just got to deal with you carnally until you know, stop it. Stop it. Don't do that. Don't do that, right? Because all you're doing is putting forth this spirit of division amongst the assembly, right? When there is no division, there's only oneness and unity in Yahushua Mashiach, right? Because it ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do with Apollos. It ain't got nothing to do with Paul. It has everything to do with Yahuah and the witness of the Ruach HaKodesh and establishing men and women in this faith and this witness, right? So Shaul goes on and he talks about, you know, I would like to talk to you in a more mature spiritual manner, but you know, I got to break it down to the nose. Don't do that, because you know that's what you do with babes. You know, you in arguments over Shaul's and Apollos. You know, Apollos is an eloquent speaker, and Apollos is well versed in the scriptures and Torah, right? And Shaul is too, Shaul a little rough around the edges. Shaul doesn't focus on eloquency. He just focuses on opening up his mouth and allowing the Ruach HaKodesh to speak a word through him. Right? It's kind of like me. You always told me to go teach from 1 Corinthians, the 4th chapter. I'm just opening up 1 Corinthians, 4th chapter, and I'm going to go to teach it. And the Ruach HaKodesh is going to do what it do. It's going to do what it do. Because I'm about it. I'm about it. I'm about doing what Yahuah has called me to do. I ain't waiting. I ain't dragging. I ain't lagging and behind in anything. Like Shaul. I'm like, I ain't lagging and behind in any of these other mores. I'm going to go at it, right? I'm going to do what Yahuah's called me to do, right? Because this is what he's called me to do. Now, listen, I ain't going to cast shade on anybody else, right? Because, again, Yahuah's called them to do what they do, right? If he's called them to do it, right? He's called them to do what he does. And it's in the Ruach HaKodesh that they have to move and do what they do. But, I don't stand in judgment of that. I ain't got time for that. I just do what Yahuah's called me to do, right? And there are those that are going to gravitate to how I do what I do. Because in the Ruach HaKodesh, there's a kindred. There's a oneness, right? In the Ruach HaKodesh. And it's going to come forth. It's going to cause men and women to listen to this ministry. But this ministry is not the only ministry. This ministry does not claim superiority. This ministry just gives you what Yahuah gives them. And that's what Shaul was saying. Listen, it's the Ruach HaKodesh that makes all this thing works. It's the Ruach HaKodesh, It's Yahuah's grace that's made this what it is, right? He says, and listen, I lay a foundation. Someone else takes this foundation and waters it, right? And, I plant. Somebody waters, right? And Yahuah gives the increase. The objective is that Yahuah gives the increase, or that the people who receive the word receive Yeshua, or that they're strengthened and move forward in producing fruit. Because that's the objective. That's the objective, right? So, Shaul, 4th chapter of this 1 Corinthians. He said, let a man so count of us as of the ministers of Mashiach. Listen, count me, consider me as a minister of Yahushua Mashiach, right? And a steward, right? Now, a steward, the Greek word for steward is
Strong's G 3623, akoinamos.
Akoinamos, right? And that is a manager of the household, right? Or of household affairs. So, I am a manager of Yahuah's affairs as it relates to this preaching of the Besorah, the Torah, bringing in the witness and teaching you its importance and understanding that you must receive his Ruach HaKodesh. That's the house affairs that I'm over, right? It's the house affairs. Yahushua Mashiach and him crucified, right? The witness of receiving the Ruach HaKodesh, the water and the blood. This is what I am over. Those affairs, right? He says, now listen, right? He says, stewards over what? The mysteries of Yahuah, right? The sevenfold doctrine of creation, Enoch says in that 93rd chapter, right? In the 12th verse, right? He talks about afterwards, in the 7th week, a perverse generation shall arise, and abundance shall be its deeds. We know we in a perverse generation. Right? It ain't rocket science. Everything you see on TV is perfect. Listen, it's amazing. Even commercials, how flamboyant in fornication, how flamboyant in porneia they are. You know how they move, right? And commercials, right? Cartoons, right? Porneia, flamboyant, right? Perverse generation, because porneia is a form of perversion. It's fornication. Fornication is perversion, right? Perversion is the opposite of what is considered right or righteous. So the opposite of righteousness is unrighteousness, which is also ascribed to perversion, right? He said, perverse generation shall arise, and abundant shall be its deeds. Abundant shall be its deeds. He says, and all its deeds perverse, and during the completion, the righteous shall be selected from an everlasting plant of righteousness. We are those who have received the witness of Yahusha, who have been selected, right? Because we are in the vine, right? From the plant of righteousness, right? We are selected from that plant of righteousness, right? And unto them shall be given the sevenfold doctrine of creation, right? See, they're going to understand by the ruach HaKodesh the volume of the books. They're going to understand by the ruach HaKodesh concerning all the books. I mean, listen, there's books that are in here. There's books that aren't in here. Listen, what's interesting is that our people, scribes, wrote down everything, right? Moshe was instructed to write jubilees. Listen, Moshe wrote a bunch of books. Enoch wrote a book. Listen, they were all designed to point to the sevenfold doctrine of this creation. It gives us the understanding of the purpose and intent of Yahuah for Yaakov, his firstborn, but for the entire world. But see, you ain't going to be able to understand that unless you have the Ruach HaKodesh. You ain't going to be able to understand that unless you receive the witness of Yahusha Mashiach. And the only way you can be a steward of Yahuah is in Yahusha Mashiach. And the only way he's going to trust you is by your transformation of your mind in the Ruach HaKodesh. See, Ruach HaKodesh of truth and the Torah of truth must transform your carnal mind. Like that mind is telling you, look, my more is better than your more. He do this better, they do that better. You carnal. You need to renew your mind, right? You need to fast. You need spiritual discipline. Because what satisfies that carnality is spiritual discipline. You become spiritually disciplined in your fasting, right? And you're praying, right? And you're reading and seeking Torah, right? By allowing the word of Yahuah to go in and come out, right? And again, you put it in, you say it out, it goes back in. That's why, when you read the words, you got to read it audibly. you got to hear yourself read the word, right? There's something transforming that happens, right? And what it does is it puts you in a place, spiritual discipline puts you in a place where carnality, right, is dealt with, right? So he says he's a steward of the mysteries, the things that are hid in the volume of the book to those who don't receive the witness. They're hid, those things, those mysteries, those teachings are hid in the volume of the book to those who have not received the witness, who do not have Yahusha's ruach HaKodesh. They ain't gonna never see it. It's like foolishness to them. The whole preaching of the Besorah is retarded to them. It makes no sense, right? But to us, it's the power of Yahuah unto Yeshua, salvation, right? And when you receive it in Emunah and you receive the ruach HaKodesh, listen, that changes everything. Now, as you become spiritually disciplined, right? You move from babes to maturity, right? You establish within yourselves, right, this maturity because of your reading, because of your fasting, because of your praying, because of your dedication to Yahuah, right? You now are given more understanding in relationship to the mysteries, because the mysteries are discerned because of your devotion and dedication, your spiritual discipline. So if you ain't spiritually disciplined, you ain't gonna understand nothing. You're gonna always be on milk, right? And spiritual discipline is something that you have to do for yourself. You know, your more can't spiritually discipline you, right? You have to spiritually discipline yourself. You have to take the initiative, right? Now, he can teach you, right? He can correct you, right? But that discipline that's required to pray, to read, to fast, to seek Yahuah, right? Right? In the ruach HaKodesh, you know, that's spiritual discipline. And that's the only thing that's going to deal with the carnality. Yeah. So yeah, you receive Yeshua. You know, Yahusha has purged you from sin consciousness, right? Your temple has been washed clean, right? And you have the ruach HaKodesh on the inside of you. But you still lack spiritual discipline. You got to discipline yourself, right? And you know what's going to happen is the more you don't discipline yourself, the more you're going to get tribulation. Because Yahuwah going to get you to the place of disciplining yourself. Yahuwah's going to get you to a place of disciplining yourself. Because tribulation works. It works patience. Patience is important because patience reassures you that in whatever it is that you're going through, Yahusha is still there. Yahuwah is still there. Yahuwah is still meeting your needs. Yahuwah is still answering your prayers. Yahuwah is still manifesting his glory, right? Yeah, you get in tribulation, but it works. Patience, and then patience, right? Patience, experience. No. Wait a minute. Tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope, right? And hope maketh not ashamed, right? So in your patience, you develop experience because now you understand that Yahusha, right? And Yahuwah has dealt favorably with you in your tribulation over time. And now you understand by your experience, right? Right, the value of what you have experienced, and it leads you to a deeper appreciation for this hope, this Yeshua, this Torah, this Besorah. Who? So, he said, moreover, it is required of those who are in service of Yahuwah's household, right, that a man be found faithful, right? Faithful. Kadar, go lay down. Go lay down. That a man be found faithful, right? Listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be about this. Teaching this witness. I'm going to be about this. I'm going to be about this. I'm going to be about it. I'm going to be faithful to Yahuah in this. I'm going to be faithful in Yahuah in this. Because I'm fully persuaded in Emunah that this is what's required. And I am going to demonstrate it to Yahuah. Yeah. I ain't taking no breaks. I ain't taking no breaks unless you would tell me to take a break. But I ain't taking no breaks. No, because I'm going to be faithful in this. Faithful. You won't be able to. It's going to be irrefutable. It's faithful. Right? Right? Moreover, that a steward, the person that handles Yahuwah's affairs, that a man be found faithful. But with me, it's a very small thing, right? That I should be a judge of you, right? It's a small thing for me to step in and tell you to stop it. Stop being carnal. It's a small thing, right? Right? For me to judge you, that I should be judge of you, or of men's judgment. Yea, I judge not my own self. Listen, you judge me, I know that I'm going to judge you, right? But understand this, right? Yahuah is in charge of us all, right? Yahuah is going to do what is necessary as I do his service, as I am steward over his household, over his heritage, right, over those who are established in his witness, right? Right. I am going to handle Yahuwah's word by the ruach hakodesh without deceit, right? I'm going to do and to say the things that Yahuwah by the ruach hakodesh gives me, right? He says, it's a very small thing that I should be judged, that I should be judged of you. It's a small thing, because I know that which I do is right. So you could judge me. But I know what I do is right. He says, or of man's judgment, because in Yahuwah I do what is right. So it doesn't matter, man's judgment, your judgment, it doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to do what is right because I am a steward that is faithful to the work of Yahuwah. I am faithful over the mysteries of Yahuwah. I am going to deliver this Besorah and this Torah because I am faithful to Yahuwah. See, I know nothing by myself, right? See, and that's me, I know nothing by myself. I have to rely on Yahuwah's ruach hakodesh, right? I gotta teach what Yahuwah gives me in that hour, in that moment, in that minute, in that second, that word that he puts in my mouth. right? Because I don't know nothing of myself, right? I don't proclaim to be a man of letters. Right? I don't declare myself to be an astute teacher of Hebrew. I don't know Greek like that. You know. And you know what? Yahuah calls to my remembrance what I've read. Right? So for me, it's not about memorization. It's about Yahusha in that hour. He says, I'll call you to remember those things that you have heard me teach you. Right? Well, the things that I have read and meditated on, that Yahuah, through the apostles and the prophets, right? You know, he's taught me, right? He brings them to my remembrance, right? But I know nothing of myself, right? Yet I am not hereby justified. Yet am I not hereby justified, right? But he that judges me is Yahuah. See, Yahuah judges me in reference to what I say and do for him, because he gives me the mysteries. You know, he gives me the word. And if you judge me according to the truth that Yahuah gives me, then I'm not concerned about it, because I know it's what Yahuah gave me. Right? Yahuah gave me. I know that it's the ruach HaKodesh. See, I know that I don't know anything of myself. Right? But the ruach HaKodesh, which I yield myself to, right, gives me what to say in the hour that I need to say it. Right? And I'm convinced of that. But he that judges me is Yahuah, or Adonai. Right? Judge me. He right. Therefore, judge nothing before it's time. You know, listen, look. Understand that in this witness, there is time that it takes for people to develop. Right? Because, you know, as a baby, you're yet carnal. Right? But if you're not careful, you'll judge it before it's time. Right? You'll move too fast on them. Right? You can tell them to stop it. Hey, don't do that. Don't get into that. Right? And trust that Yahuah, right, will, by what you do and your providing understanding, right, because of their carnality, they will develop into the spiritual character of Yahusha HaMashiach and be like-minded, right? Because again, you know, you got to be transformed, and transform requires discipline, and discipline takes time. So, you know, don't judge them before it's time, right? He says, until Adonai comes, who will bring to light the hidden things of darkness and will manifest the counsels of the heart. Listen, allow Yahuah to, through tribulation, to let it work in those, right, whom he has chosen, some of which are carnal and lack spiritual discipline, but must learn, because, you know, Yahuwah's going to give you tribulation, that these are designed to make you fast more, to make you pray more, to make you read more, right? To make you meditate more, right? Because in doing these things, you are establishing a spiritual discipline, and you're removing the tendency of carnality, and you're maturing. Don't judge anything before it's time. Because Yahuah is going to judge the hearts of men. Yahuah is going to judge the hearts of men over time. Because that's what tribulation does. It works. Tribulation is going to judge and prove your heart. Tribulation is going to prove, test, and judge your heart. Because tribulation works. That's why Yahuah used tribulation. Right? Use pressure. He squeezes you. He squeezes you and puts pressure on you so that you will establish patience. Right? Patience by design. Tribulation is going to cause you to get on your knees. It's going to cause you to pray. It's going to cause you to fast. It's going to cause you to seek you. That's why, the Pharisee says, don't your disciples fast? He said, they don't need to fast. I'm here. You said they don't need to fast. Listen, the light of the world is here. The righteousness of Yahuah is here. All power and the Shamayim and the Eretz is right here with them. They don't need to fast. But the time and the hour is going to come where darkness is going to come. Oh, yeah. Because Hasatan's dominion is going to be taken. Right? And he's going to bruise Yahusha's heel. Yeah, that gospel preaching message is going to come under pressure. Right? It's going to be perverted and distorted. Right? But see, you have to understand that they had no need to fast while he was there. But once he did, they had to fast. They had to pray. They had to pray in the ruach. They had to pray with their understanding. They had to move. They were the pillars of the assemblies. They were the establishment of the renewed covenant. They were the first fruits. Right? So now they needed to. Just like we do. You don't never turn your plate down. Listen, you're gonna always have a degree of carnality. You ain't gonna grow like you should. You ain't gonna want to fast. You ain't gonna want to pray. You don't want to read the word. You don't want to listen to the word. Listen, the more you listen to the word, the more you meditate on the word, the more you hear the word. Listen, the more you are going to be renewed, transformed, your mind. You will discipline yourself, right? So Shaul says, therefore judge nothing before its time until Adonai come, who will both bring to light the hidden things of darkness and will manifest the counsel of the heart. And then shall every man have praise unto Eloah. Listen, don't worry about exalting my flesh. Don't worry about exalting Apollos. Because at the end of the day, when Yahusha returns, my heart and Apollo's heart is going to be open and before everybody. It's going to be made manifest, right? And we going to be of the praise of Yahuah. Me and Apollos and Kepher and all those who follow in suit. It's about spiritual discipline, man. Carnality, you got to discipline yourself. And ain't nobody going to make you be disciplined. You have to feel the need to be disciplined yourself. You have to feel the need to set yourself apart. Right? Listen. I ride bike every morning now. Been doing it for like 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, right? I just needed some exercise, right? So I get up every morning, and the guy I used to ride motorcycles with, we get up, we ride, because he lives right around the corner. It's like right around the corner. So we get up, we ride bike. I'll go from 6 to 14 miles, depending on the day, right? And but it's discipline. You know, something that I have to discipline myself to do. You know, I mean, it ain't gonna happen on its own. And I gotta discipline myself to do it. You know, I'm disciplining myself because, you know, I could use the exercise. So, you know, first thing in the morning around 9 o'clock, I jump on that bike. We get it, go to ride, you know. Sometimes I go by myself and I push myself much farther than I would with him, you know. I mean, because he's 70, you know, you know, his legs start to hurt after about 3 miles. You know, it is what it is. You know, so, but I ride with him anyway. You know, turn around, do 6 miles, you know, we good. You know, because I'm still getting exercise. But, you know, when I'm riding by myself, man, you know, my discipline, I push myself, right? I push myself. I don't do 6 miles. I'll do 8 miles. Then I'll do 10 miles. And then I'll do 14 miles. Push myself. Time I get home, I'm like beat down, right? Tired. But I push myself, right? Because the discipline is important to me. You know, I got to get results. You know, I got to prove myself that I have control over things. They don't master me. Discipline, right? He said, listen, and these things, brethren, I have in a figure transferred to myself and Apollos for your sake. I'm using me and Apollos as an example for you, right? Look at this example, right? You gotta know this. This is for your benefit. You need to understand that, you know, Yahuah is going to reward me and reward Apollos. Yahuah knows what's in my heart, and he knows what's in Apollos' heart, right? Listen, and you ain't got no business being carnal, selecting or choosing one above the other, right? Arguing over who is more eloquent and who uses ebonics. You know, it is what it is. He said, Paul said, you know, he did this for your sake, that ye might learn in us not to think above that which is written, that no one of you be puffed up for one against another. Listen, Bruce, stop puffing up your elders. Stop puffing up your mores. Right? Stop puffing them up. Don't do that. Don't do that. You become carnal. You know? Become carnal. You know, I was listening to a sister on YouTube. Man, I can't remember. She does a YouTube, and she just happened to actually, I think did she just happen to pop up, or did I add her? Anyway, she was on my YouTube, and she was talking about how, you know, Yahuah had to correct her because she had created this idol in a more or a teacher, right? And she esteemed this individual so highly that in retrospect, it worked against her own self-esteem, because now she lacks confidence. And she says it was interesting because she said she had become overwhelmed at one point and just started crying, right? Just, right, going in and crying intently, right? And she said it hadn't happened for over, I can't remember the number of years, but a number of years. But she understood that it was attached to her self-esteem, right? And how the Most High had told her that she had elevated these people to a place above Yahuah and moved them, maybe not so much as a way of above Yahuah, but put them as idols. Well, if you have an idol, then you're worshiping them, and you're not directing the service and the worship or the praise to Yahuah. But, when I heard that, I was thinking, man, that is just so much in line with what Shaul was trying to teach the church of Corinthians. Listen, stop lifting up your mores. Stop. They're human, right? You don't want to make them have to contend with their flesh. You don't. Listen, right? I got this ock. I got an ock and he's gonna listen to this and he gonna know, right? This is not different from my Besorah of truth ock, right? Yeah, that's my Timothy. But this is another man of Yahuah that I have respect for, right? He messaged me and he told me some real good encouraging words. And I told him, I appreciate it. I really do. I said, I'm just going to do what I do, but I appreciate it, right? And, all praise to the Most High Yahuah, right? And Yahusha, his son, Mashiach, because I'm going to do what I do until Yahuah calls me home, right? Or until, he tells me to stop, or however he chooses. But that's what it's about, right? And it was nice to hear that, right? But because I know this Ak. I don't know him, but I know him. I've never physically met him. We basically met online, some things that, we've shared, right? And some things that I've done, right? And, it was good, right? But it's not something that he does, It's something that he shares with me, right? I would be uncomfortable with, somebody elevating me on a page. I really would. Like, nah, if you want to send me a message, that's fine. I appreciate that. But, putting me on a page and, lifting me up like, this is my moray, these are my mores. And, nah, man, no, don't do that. 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 Now, I'm just talking about me. I'm like Shaul. Look, I'm just talking about me. Don't do that to me. If you want to encourage me and send me a word of encouragement, on a message, I'm going to take it, I'm going to receive it, and I'm going to bless you, and I'm going to let you know, thank you, but don't put me on no page. Don't do that. Don't do that, right? No, because, I don't want nobody to look at me and create contention. No, right? Because that's the nature of flesh. And, again, I do everything in my power, right, to maintain discipline, right, in order to prevent carnality. Right? Because your mind never forgets carnality. But the more of the words you put in it, the more you make it subject. Right? Make it subject. So, he said, and these things, brethren, I have in a figure transferred to myself and to Apollos for your sake, that ye might learn in us not to think above that which is written. You know, don't do it. You know, don't do it, right? That no one of you be puffed up for one against another. Because you know what? That's what happens with the carnal youngsters in the witness. You know, these youngsters in this witness, man, you got to understand that there are things that you got to guard them against. You know. He says, for who maketh thee to differ? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? Right? You know, who gonna make you different? I mean, what's the difference? Right? Literally, what's the difference? Right? And now if thou didst receive, why doest thou glory as if thou hast not received? Listen, if you received the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach, right? Why are you all exalting flesh, right? Acting a certain way, as if, you know, you didn't receive it the same way that someone else received it. I mean, you both had to receive the witness. You know, you received the witness of Apollos, and you know, you received the witness of Shaul, Paul, and you know, the fact is you both received the witness. You both experienced that which was necessary to bring Yeshua, but you both lack spiritual discipline. You still conducting yourself in a carnal manner. Dude, me and Apollos ain't doing that. We ain't about that. Because you know what? We're spiritually disciplined. That's why we do what we do. But I got to deal with you as carnal and tell you to stop it. You're being babies. Stop that. Don't do that. He says, why doest thou glory? Why are you glorying in Apollos? Look, why are you glorying in Paul? Listen, you received both the same Yeshua from two different men. It's still Yahuah. They're one. Yahuah and Yahusha is one in the Ruach HaKodesh. You have Yahuah and Yahusha on the inside of you. He has Yahuah and Yahusha on the inside of him. Whether it is of a Paul or whether it's of Apollos, listen, you're still one. Don't exalt nobody's flesh. Don't get caught up in worshiping men. Run around here men pleasers. You ain't doing it because you love Yahuah. You're doing it because you're trying to please your moray. You ain't doing it because you love Yahuah, but you're trying to please your mora and your elder and your emas and your occultes and your akis. You're doing it unto Yahuah, right? Right? You're exalting other people's flesh. Well, don't do that. It's hard enough to preach this Besorah truth to people. And then to have people start lifting your flesh up, and then you got to deal with their carnality, and you got to deal with the fact that, you got to keep yourself under subjection. Because I don't know where you came from. Look, you come from the school of thought where, especially in Christendom, coming out of this, in Christendom, you was patting everybody on the back. Hey, we want to give honor to the pastor. We want to give honor and praise. Let's show the pastor how much we love him. Let's give an offering. All of that crazy stuff. Oh, yeah, well, we got to pray. Look, everybody got to pray. Pastor, come up and get your plate. What? All of this stuff, well, that passes for that chair's for the pastor, that chair's for the deacon, head deacon, deaconess, no, flesh stuff, man. Come from that. And you know what? In that, we had a carnal sense of pleasure, right? We understood that, we were in a position of authority, right? I mean, even though it wasn't that big of authority, I mean, it came with its perks, right? But the thing is that if you're not careful, you don't want your moray to revisit that carnality, that was a part of what he was. You don't want to play into his flesh. Look, this thing has dual. Look, they should do it because they're carnal. But listen, you don't want to keep exalting the flesh of your moray either, because he gonna start to think that stuff, especially if you're young, right? Especially young ox, these young mores, man, these young preachers, these young teachers. You come from a place where, you don't have the experience of an elder. You get to thinking, you know it all. See, because, me, look, I've been in the word for years. That's why I like the fact that Yahuah has allowed me to, through discipline, tribulation, to be seasoned, right? Salt, right? That this gray beard, this bearded one, right? Who has time and tenure, right, in the Besorah, in the Torah of truth, and who has the ruach hakodesh, right, in him, right, that leads him and guides him into all truth, and he understands what that looks like, right. I'm glad that he allowed me this time and maturity, right, to be in this witness, right? Because my perspective is 100% different than it was as a young man in this ministry, serving you. I mean, I still had emunah. Like I said, everything he did, most of all miracles and stuff that I seen that like in my early 20s and my late 20s, early 30s. Probably my early 30s, right? Because there's a lot of things that, Yahuah did at times that he did through me, even in my teens, right? I was like, ooh, Yahuah, that was a miracle, right? But the idea is that the time and tenure, listen, not for him to receive the promise until he was 100 years old. Yahuah gave it to him when he was 70, right? But he had trials. I mean, he had tribulation. He had to deal with Sarah. He had to deal with Hagar. He had to deal with Ishmael. He had to deal with the king of Egypt. He had to deal with famine. He had to deal with Lot. He had to deal with all these things. Right? He had to deal with all of that stuff. Right? He had to deal with all of that stuff. He had to fight the valley of the kings. Yeah, Yahusha came and he paid tithes unto Yahusha covenanted with him with bread and wine. This is the unleavened bread of the covenant. This is the blood of the grape, the wine. Listen, it takes time. And Yahuwah is going to try the hearts. Try the hearts. It's going to demonstrate, going to prove what's in you, right? He said, listen, right, let's go. Listen what he says. He says, for who maketh thee to differ from another? From another. Now you notice that I skip over the italicized words. Right. For who maketh thee to differ? And what hast thou that thou didst not receive? What makes me different from Apollos? You both receive Yeshua, right? You both are establishing the witness. What's the difference? Right? Right? Because Apollos is eloquent, and I'm kind of brash. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, and at the end of the day, you both receive Yeshua, right? He says, what hast thou that thou didst not receive? I mean, what is it that you didn't get? If you both got the same thing and you should Mashiach and the witness, right? Now, if thou didst receive the witness, why doest thou glory as if thou hast not? Right? Why are you acting like you haven't? In this contentious manner. Right? Yeah, because you're yet carnal. Because you lack spiritual discipline. Yeah, you have the ruach HaKodesh. Yeah, you've been changed from the inside out, but you still need discipline. You need transformation of the mind. Right? He says, okay, now. He says, now are ye full. Now are ye rich. Ye have reigned as kings without us. Right? Right? Because this is what has come as a result of this witness. Right? And I would to Yahuah ye did reign, and that we also might reign with you. Right? Right? So Paul is saying, listen, now you're full. You receive the witness, right? Right? Now you're rich because the Ruach HaKodesh on the inside of you makes you rich. Right? Rich in understanding. Rich in wisdom and revelation. You're rich. You have the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh in demonstration. That's being rich. Right? Right? Ye have reigned as kings. Right? You sitting over here arguing, right? But you're reigning as kings. Right? 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 Without us. I'm not over there teaching you and supervising you and dictating to you and giving you everything. You've been developing, right? Right? That we also might reign with you, right? Because we reigning, because we've received the witness of Yahushua Mashiach. You gonna reign, and we want to reign with you, right? He says, for I think that Yahuah have set forth us, the apostles last, as it is appointed unto death. The apostles knew they had an appointment with death. And Mashiach Yahusha said, listen, you reigning in us right now because of the witness that you received. But we as the apostles, it's appointed unto us to die. You've received this witness from Apollos and from me, right? Right? I'm an apostle, right? And I have an appointment with death. I'm going to suffer for Yahushua Mashiach's sake, right? He says, for I think that Yahuah has set us forth, the apostles last, right? Because, we going about preaching and teaching, we getting stoned, and you receiving the witness, and you becoming rich, having the Ruach HaKodesh, being quickened, having power, having received the inheritance. We have it too, but listen, we going to suffer. I think it's appointed unto us last, as it were appointed unto death, right? For we are made a spectacle unto the world. See, people look at us because we're the first fruits. And we go forth and preach in this Besorah, and they look at us like, what? This man has lost his mind. He's bumped his head. Then they want to throw us out. They want to stone us. They want to kill us. They want to put us in with lions. They want to crucify us upside down. They want to chop off our heads. They want to boil us in oil. Last. Right? Right? Spectacle. Right? Unto the world. And to the angels. And to men. It's everybody looking at us. Angels looking like, wow, look what these apostles have to go through. And men looking at us like, we stoned. You gonna get stoned for this? You gonna get your head chopped off for this? You gonna get crucified upside down for this? You gonna get boiled in water alive for this? You gonna be killed for this? Spectacle. See, because listen. You looking at us, right? Exalting us and puffing us up. But look, this is what we are expecting as our outcome. This is what we're anticipating as the outcome. We suffering for Mashiach's sake. You've been made rich. He said, you were rich. Right? He said, you were full. Ruach HaKodesh. Right? You are rich. You have the blessings that come with receiving this witness. Rich. You reign as kings. Because in Yahushua Mashiach, you are kings and priests. In this witness. In Yahushua. Right? But listen, guess what? We appointed unto death. Since you want to say I'm of Apollos and I'm of Paul, and I'm a CEPHER, or Kepher, Peter, you sure you want that? Right? He says, right? He says, for we are fools. We fools for Hamashiach's sake. Listen, that word fools in the Greek.
Strong's G 3474. Moras.
It's foolish. Let's see if there's an etymology. The etymology of this word is
Strong's G 3466. Mustadion.
Now that's the root word. It is hidden things, secret, mystery, general mysteries, religious secrets, confided only to the initiated, not to the ordinary mortal. So Shaul, right, is saying it's foolish, it's impious, it is probably base, dull, or stupid, blockhead. These are Strong's definition, right? Heedless, right? He's heedless, right? He said we are fools, blockheads. I mean, to those who witness us, right? Those who witness us as spectacles, right? To them, we fools, we blockheads. Right? We special needs that don't make sense for Yahushua Mashiach's sake, right? But ye wise in Hamashiach, right? Right? We weak, but ye strong. Ye honorable, but we despised. Right? You are the recipients of this witness. And because of you being the recipient of this witness, having received the water, the blood, and the ruach HaKodesh, the power of a Yahuah unto salvation, the riches of this inheritance, the riches of the inheritance, it's in you as the saints, right? 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 He says, we are fools, but you are wise. Because, you know, when they look at us, they see fools. When they look at you, they look all wise. Right? When they see us, they see weak. You know? Right? Paul was this frail-looking little weak man. Right? Right? He said, but you are strong. Perception. Right? Right? You are honorable, but we are despised. Honorable. We're despised. Listen, like, even unto this present hour we both hunger and thirst and are naked and are buffeted and have no certain dwelling place. Who does that sound like? Yahushua Mashiach. He had no place. He said, the birds have nests and the foxes have holes, but the Son of Man have no place to lay his head. Nothing that is his own, because he's in service for Yahuah and Elohiym, and that looks like Emunah all the time, every day, in every situation and circumstance. Shaul saying, listen, this Besorah has me hungry and thirsty. I've been shipwrecked on the water. I've been beat with stripes on several occasions, on 2 occasions, I think he says. Stoned, left for dead. I'm hungry sometimes. I'm thirsty sometimes. I'm naked, buffeted, hit, punched, assaulted. And I don't even have a certain dwelling place, right? And at the time he wrote this, he was in prison. I think he was in prison in Rome. He don't have his own house. He has a place where he's under house arrest. No place. Listen. Don't be lifting up your moray. Don't be wanting to be like your moray. You better be like a Mashiach. Young Ak. Yaakov ben Zion Gaal. I want him to be like Yahushua Mashiach. I want him to be strong in the witness of Yahushua. I've got a Koti, Alicia. I want her to be strong in Yahushua Mashiach. I want her to be established in this witness to the point where Yahuah and Yahushua just radiates the witness, because it ain't about me. Listen, it ain't about me. It's about Yahushua Mashiach. It ain't about me. He says, listen. Even unto this present hour we are hunger and thirst and naked and hit and punched, buffeted is hit, and have no certain dwelling place, and labor, working with our own hands, providing what we need in this Besorah, right? Right? I had to work with my own hands. Yeah. He gives me what I need. I'm content with whatever Yahuah gives me. He gives me what I need because, I'm in service to him. I do this as a testimony. And listen, right? I told you, man, in my truck, right? Because, I drive Uber. I drive Uber from like 1:30 to like 6:30, right? 4 or 5 hours, right? And, when you in Uber in my car, you listening to Hidden Hebrews. I don't even play my DVDs. I play Hidden Hebrews. B'nai Israel. I play Hidden Hebrews. I pray Hidden Hebrews. Because, Benaiah in these documentaries, he always corresponds or correlates the scriptures, right, to the recorded words of these different individuals who testified to the existence of the Hebrews being of brown or black persuasions, curly hair, us, right? And it's interesting because when I play it, there's certain people, they listening to it. Get out the car and I say, oh, that's very interesting. What is that? And I'll tell them. I say, you can find it on YouTube. It's a series. He does a series of Hidden Hebrews. It's really good. It's anywhere 6, 7 different CDs, but it's the Hidden Hebrew series. So I'm constantly in there. And now, I'll be listening to. Sometimes I'll put on YouTube's of scriptures. So I just play scriptures. But when I'm riding around with people, most of the time I'll do the Hidden Hebrew series. I'll go from one to the next to the next. Lately I've been the DNA 100% proof one. Yeah, that one. And I also do the newest one, the Hidden Hebrews, the volume 1. I think that's a condensed version of most of them, but I play that one. And then there's another one that he has that I play. You get in my truck. Yeah, in Hidden Hebrews. And then people ask me questions. Excuse me, what is that you listening to? And I tell them. And they said, what? I kind of thought that was the case. So listen, if you really want to understand it, take this down and take a listen to him because it's got like a documentary. It's like 6 or 7 different ones, and then it's a progression. So, oh yeah, thank you. Writing them down, and these are Gentiles, right? So it's interesting to me because most people. I ride our people. Our people. I be playing Hidden Hebrews. I be playing. Sometimes I put on Hezekiah or whoever. I play sometimes. And I put in some different Hebrew music for our people, and they'll play them. I'll play Hidden Hebrews too. But our people are like, they. I think our people sometimes are more resistant than the Gentiles. Gentiles are kind of fascinated with the idea of exploring what that means. Where our people, they ain't. Stiff neck and stubborn, But Yahuah knows, But the idea is that constantly keep it before people. I'm about Yahuah's business. I'm about it whether I'm in my car. I'm about it whether I'm here behind this mic. I'm about the Besorah and the Torah of truth, right? And listen, I'm prepared and understanding that there's certain things that's coming, right? He says, listen, he says, and labor working with our own hands, being reviled, we bless, being persecuted, we suffer. You know, being reviled. You know, people talking nasty. Gotta wanna swear and cuss at you. Yeah, because of this witness. He said, being defamed, we intreat. We are made as the filth of the world, the offscouring of all things unto this day. That's the fact. It's Hebrews, man. That's just what we are. We're despised and rejected of men. We're men of sorrows and acquainted with grief. He says, I write not these things to shame you, but as my beloved sons to warn you. Understand, there's a price to be paid to do what we're doing. And it ain't about one being better than the other. It's not about you getting into a place where you want to be like Yahuah or you want to be like Apollos. You better be like Yahusha Mashiach. And even in walking in this witness, declaring it as Yahusha Mashiach, going forth with signs following, understand you need to be prepared because, you know, this will be you too. May not always be the case, you know, because Yahuah has a road, right? We are headed. We all have the expectation of the kingdom, but you know, we all gonna get there the way that Yahuah has mapped us out, right? So he said, "For though," he says, "For though ye have 10,000 instructors in Hamashiach, yet not many fathers." So you may have a lot of people that are instructors, but not many fathers, right? Right? For in Hamashiach Yahusha I have begotten you through this Besorah. So, you know, you may have many people, but you only have one father, right? And that's what he's saying. Right? So as long as you understand Shaul, you understand what he's getting to, you understand how important it is for him to let them know that, you know, he loves them as a father. You know, don't compare him to somebody else, but recognize that I'm the one that birthed you in this witness, right? Wherefore I beseech you, be followers of me, or imitate me, right? Right? To follow, to imitate, right? To be like me in Hamashiach, you know, imitate me. Don't dress like me. Don't cut your hair like me. Don't wear your beard like me. That's carnal being like me. That's like carnal. But being like me because of how I am disciplined in the witness. And how am I disciplined? I go about preaching and giving this Besorah truth out. And how I allow Yahusha HaMashiach to lead and guide me, be like me, right? He says, for this cause I have sent unto you Timotheus, who is my beloved son and faithful in Adonai, who shall bring you into remembrance of my ways, which be Hamashiach, as I teach everywhere and every. So he says, I'm going to send Timothy back to Timothy coming your way, and he going, you know, go preach the Besorah, just like you heard me preach the Besorah. He going to reiterate some things to you the way I would reiterate them to you, because Timothy is a follower of me. He's an imitator of me. You know, Timothy ain't walking around dressed like me, looking like me, walking like me, mimicking me. He ain't doing it like me, like that. But his discipline is like mine, right? He's established in his witness like me. He's followed me, so he understands how things are done spiritually. So you can expect that from him. He says, and he gonna teach the same thing I teach, right? Now some are puffed up as though I would not come to you, but I will come to you shortly. He said, some of y'all is, thinking that you know everything and think I ain't coming. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. Paulo's coming though. Paulo's gonna be, but he ain't coming. All puffed up, right? As though I would not come to you, but I will come to you shortly, if Yahuah will, and will know not the speech of them that are puffed up, but the power. He said, hey, you talking, you talk now, but when I get there, we gonna see. I ain't gonna know just your speech, and I'm gonna know how much ruach hakodesh you have, right? He said, for the kingdom of Elohiym is not in words, but it's in ruach hakodesh. So, you got the people who are puffed up because, they got eloquency. But it's okay, we'll see. When I come, I ain't coming to see how good you sound. I'm coming to see how much power. Listen, come see me and know why the ruach hakodesh, the power I got. Listen, there ain't nothing eloquent about what I say. I ain't stringing a bunch of words together. Nope. This Besorah, this witness will convert the soul if you receive it, right? He says, what will ye? Shall I come unto you with the rod? Because I'm going to do you just like I do kids that require correction. Stop it. You're puffed up. Stop it. You're arrogant. You're starting contention. Stop it. Get disciplined. I'm going to discipline you. I'm going to show you. Timothy going to come before me. He going to let you know. He going to straighten you out. Right? He says, or in love and the ruach hakodesh of meekness. Which one you going to want? Which side of me you want to see? Because I'm a father. I'm coming to you like a father. Which side you want? Man of y'all, woman of y'all, listen. You have to understand Yahuah, Yahusha, and what it means to be a servant of a Mashiach, a servant of this witness. This witness is real. Your devotion to this witness has to be equally real. You have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined in this witness. You can't get away with being carnal. You got to establish spiritual discipline. You got to transform your mind. You got to transform your soul, your nefesh. You have to. It's a prerequisite. You got to. You can't get by without it. You ain't going to make it without it. And, Yahuah knows what you need. And he can give you what you need if you trust him. Right? And to those who listen to my YouTubes, understand that what I teach for you, for your blessing, your edification, and for your learning. And in times for your correction. Right? But I do it from a place of love and concern. I don't do it to be exalted. I don't do it to be patted on the back. I don't do it to be lifted up. I do it just to be a witness of Yahusha HaMashiach, because I understand the value of this witness. I know that you must have it. And again, I'm going to do what Yahuah told me to do so. And that is to preach this Besorah. So, we've just finished Corinthians, the 4th chapter, right? 1 through 21. Yahuah, I give you praise for your Besorah, your Torah of truth. I pray that your word will go out and not return unto you void. Yahuah, that it would accomplish that which you send it forth to do. Yahuah, you have those who you have chosen, who have an ear to hear, to receive this, your word. And I pray that by your ruach HaKodesh, they would have emunah to receive this witness with love and not grudgingly, with love and not with animosity. But Yahuah, that they would be established in this witness, and that they would grow in emunah. Yahuah, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. And Yahuah, I pray healing over those who need healing, healing in their bodies, healing in their minds. Those who thoughts, process, the way they thinking is under the attack of Hasatan. I take authority over that ruach that is bombarding their thoughts. And I command it in the name of Yahusha Mashiach to loose them. I declare their freedom and their liberty. Listen, man of Yahuah, listen, you got to, this is your responsibility. You have to take this responsibility and begin to discipline yourself and deal with carnality. Gird up. Stop it. In the name of Yahusha Mashiach. And discipline yourself spiritually. Father, do it in the name of Yahusha Mashiach. Excuse me. Let the words of my mouth and meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuah, my strength and my redeemer. Yahuah be praised. Yahusha HaMashiach, King and Sovereign, be praised. Man of Yah, one of Yah, listen, that's all we have. I pray that Yahuah would take this word and cause it to come alive in you. Now listen, you understand you got to be led by the ruach HaKodesh. And as many as are led by the ruach HaKodesh, these are the sons of Elohiym, daughters of Elohiym. Listen, you have an obligation, right, to do the things that cause spiritual discipline. Discipline yourself. Yeah, and don't be subject to carnal nature, right? And again, carnality has nothing to do with what Yahusha has done in the Ruach HaKodesh in the changing of your sin nature, right? But listen, you go fight with your mind. You want to have to bring that under the discipline of the word. You got to discipline your body. You got to discipline your nefesh. You got to do it. And you do it in fasting, praying, in the Ruach, praying with your understanding, meditating, doing everything you need to do. Keep that word in. Get that word go in. Listen, you sitting up in the house, you cleaning, listen, put scriptures. If you got that Amazon thing, like I got the Amazon thing, I just go to YouTube and I pull up some scriptures and I just let them play. You know, some of the things that play for hours. It's the word going in. Hear the word. You know, sometimes you be like, well, I'm not really listening to it. Yeah, but, you know, you are, you know, indirectly. So, you know, you do everything in your power to get it done. You know, do everything in your power to get it done. So, man, y'all, woman, y'all, that's all I got. So what I'm going to say, with that, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Listen, be blessed. Walk in the power of Yahuwah's Ruach and established in his witness. With that, I say Shalom.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.